at the 149 weight spot. And overall, Graham Brooks is going to be the guy who's facing him. Talk to me a bit about the mental aspect as a wrestler yourself. When you're facing a guy who's phenomenally talented, how much of a pressure does that put on you as a wrestler?
Yeah, it really depends on how much you let it impact the way you perform. You know, Graham Brooks is a guy who doesn't really shy away from a competitive match. You know, he was wrestling last week at Midlands, and he had right off the bat, it was number 8 ranked wrestler in the nation from Northwestern, Yaya Thomas, and he didn't let that sway him. He went out there and he battled and he got the win. So that's something that he's going to have to. That's the mindset that he's got to have when he's wrestling Pat Lugo, is having the ability to not worry about his ranking or his performance or any past result, and know that the only thing that really matters is the 7 minutes that they have when they're wrestling each other. Exactly.
We'll be fearless out there. Tell me a bit about the guy he's going up against, though, Pat Lugo, a 96-27 overall career record. Tell me about him as an opposition wrestler.
Repeat that for me.
Pat Lugo, tell me about him kind of as an opponent. What is going to be the strengths of him as Graham Brooks tries to take on him?
Right, obviously he's a senior, and he's been around in the NCAA for a long time. You know, he transferred to the Hawkeyes after wrestling at Edinburgh. He's a very gritty wrestler. You know, his matches can be close, and they will be close, and it doesn't bother him. It's not something that he's not worried about having to have a big lead. He doesn't gas out, so that's going to be something that Graham Brooks has to be able to compete with, is the fact that it's going to be a gritty match. You know, if you're down by 1 point, you're going to have to find a way to stick to one offensive attempt and work towards getting that score.
This is going to be a big test for IU, the current 4-0 Iowa Hawkeyes, #1 team in the nation, as we see these two guys begin to get themselves set up for their initial contests. Graham Brooks, Pat Lugo going to be the first two guys taking it on today. Graham Brooks, originally from Columbus, Indiana, as you hear him being introduced. 15-7 as a freshman, winning the Cleveland State Open. He's going to be going up against a very tough opponent, but someone that he definitely will not shy away from.
Of course.
Sammy. Getting close to the first opening action for IU in the Big Ten here in 2019-2020.
Yeah, and you're going to watch Lugo here take control of the center of the mat and really keep Brooks on the out of bounds. That's going to keep a lot of pressure on him. In the mental aspect is the idea that he doesn't want to give up a stall call by being stuck in the out of bounds. And here's Lugo working for a takedown and gets it.
2 points right away for Iowa, just 25 seconds in to this initial match.
Yeah, Lugo obviously getting that, keeping that ankle hooked. He's trying to keep that pressure on. On his toes now, keeping that pressure on Rook's back. Rook's working for an escape here, trying to stay in bounds. He's got to work back up to his feet. Very good for a stalemate.
Stalemate is called right there. Rook's bit beaten on that initial minute of action right there. And they're going to resume action in the center. Over 30 seconds of riding time now for Lugo.
He's working for a tilt here with the 2-on-1. Rooks fights it off, gets his hands back. He really needs to get wrist control here and build his base back up, get his chest high.
As you hear the PA announce, 1 minute riding time advantage for Lugo.
Still on top.
What has Lugo been able to do to get himself to be #1, and that you're seeing at least in the first minute and a half of this match right here?
Well, obviously he's a very physical wrestler. He uses his physicality a lot. He's trying to bully his opponents around and digging things like underhooks and getting in front headlocks. And now he's working a tilt here to get back points, maybe even the fall.
He's trying to do just that.
And he's got a 4 count here. He's going to have four points for him. He cuts Rooks loose.
1 point escape for Rooks.
6-1 now. Lugo with 1:47 of riding time. There's Rooks in on a shot. He's got to be able to finish here.
Good right there from Rooks.
He's got to get to his feet and elevate that knee.
28 seconds.
Can't let his hands. Nope, got to get back up to the feet.
$20 seconds left.
Got to stay careful in this position. This is where the knees get tangled up and can cause an injury. Yep. It's a smart whistle for potentially dangerous.
Indeed, potentially dangerous. 15 seconds in this first period. 6-1 currently is the lead for Lugo over Rooks.
Rooks needs to work up here. Single off and pull that knee in tight.
That is going to wrap up the first period. 6-1. Lugo takes it right there. Tell me a bit of what you saw that Rooks or Lugo can improve on.
So Rooks, obviously, after that first exchange, getting taken down and getting put to his back, he's put himself in a bit of a hole, but now he's able to get to his offense and get to his shots. And as we go into the second period here, he's going to want to put on a tough ride and get that riding time under a minute so that that's no longer a factor. And after that, he honestly has the option of continuing to ride or even cutting him loose in order to get back to his offense and score more points if he's not comfortable trying to get the turn. Because obviously, being down in a 6-1 deficit here, he's got to be able to score some points. But this is a position where he can really get Lugo tired. Having Lugo standing up and getting put back down is an exhausting effort for both of them. But Rooks here,
Lugo gets the escape right there.
More comfortable on his feet as he's trying to get more points put up on the board as he's down 7-1.
He has cut a bit in that riding time. 1:30 still to go in that advantage for Lugo.
There, he can get a takedown here if he keeps circling. There's that takedown. Perfect.
Very nice right there from Rooks. Gets 2 points back there.
And again, he's trying to lock up a cradle here. And getting back to that offense is going to be what really keeps him in this match.
8-3 now after the escape from Lugo right there and cuts down the riding time to 1:21.
He's got to be smarter on those shots. He might give up a go behind here. He's got to get his head out. Now keep a whizzer here. Obviously, Lugo putting that knee in a very uncomfortable position. Rooks being very, very smart, using his flexibility in order to stay away from that takedown.
Potentially dangerous is again the call. 8-3 with 58 seconds still in the second period. Nice work from Rooks.
And again, that position got put in because Rooks dove in on a shot instead of setting it up. What he needs to be able to do is work to his setup so that his shots are more clean and he's able to get in deeper on the shot and be in better position. Otherwise, he might be giving up more points and be in danger of giving up the major decision. Like that, perfect.
Very nice right there from Rooks.
Yeah, as soon as you get that leg hooked, you're in good position to get the takedown. He pops his head out and he gets the takedown.
2 more points right there for Rooks. It's been a big period.
That cuts it down to 8-5. He's working on putting down riding time now. It's down to 1 minute and 14 seconds.
And if he can ride out this period, could have cut it down to 1 minute.
Yes, and then he has the option of going down, getting an escape, and then working towards his takedowns again.
6 seconds left as Lugo gets up and does escape right there.
He's got to be okay.
9-5 is the way it ends after that period. 1 minute and 1 second on the riding time right now for Lugo, but great work from Rooks right there to chop in a bit on that lead.
An excellent period for him. And the crowd getting into it, as you can hear them rumble the stands.
Great showing here for IU.
It's a great environment.
Here in Wilkinson Hall, trying to get an early point here on an escape. But the riding time, again, going back up for Lugo, and a great move there.
Lugo's gonna try and chew up as much of the time as he can, because obviously Rooks is going to have a hard time scoring points when he's on bottom. As he gets the escape there, he cuts it down to 9-6, effectively 10-6 with the riding time point. Of course, if Rooks can get a takedown, he can cut that riding time down to below 1 minute and put himself right there in this match.
Minute 27 to go. Minute 19 is the current riding time score for Lugo. Stalemate's called. Lugo, obviously a reigning All-American, one of 7 on this Iowa team.
Yes.
Most they've returned since 1991-92. Obviously a very talented group of guys, but Rooks doing his best to start off the night very good for IU.
Rooks is setting up the tone for how IU wants to wrestle this Hawkeye team. They want to put the pressure on the Iowa Hawkeyes as they're in here in Wilkinson Hall. We want to make it a hostile environment in order to pull off some wins here. Now Rooks is in a bad position. Got to watch that knee. He doesn't give up the takedown though. Very impressive showing.
Very good right there from Rooks to get out of that. 40 seconds to go. 9-6 is at what it stands right now. Looking at how Rooks is doing right now, how do you believe that he's doing going up against a very talented guy in Lugo?
Yes, he's putting up a very good job after giving up 4 near fall in the first period. This is a very close match, a very good one. This is a good sign for how Rooks is going to do for the rest of the season. Obviously, it's not what he wants to be down with this short a time, but it's a good showing for Rooks coming up against the #1 ranked wrestler in the nation.
17 seconds, now 10 seconds to go. 9-6 as it stands, and riding time is going to be in favor of Lugo as the clock dwindles away. A good move from Rooks.
Very slick.
Very slick indeed, and that is how it's going to end right there between Lugo and Rooks.
A 10-6 decision puts the Hawkeyes up 3-0 after the first bout of this duel. It was obviously not the result that Rooks wanted, but it was a very good match and one that should help keep the momentum somewhat in favor of the Hoosiers.
Exactly. Did a good job to keep it there, but obviously winner by decision is the #1 player in the nation at the 149 weight spot. That is Pat Lugo.
Yes.
As we move on now, 157 up next. Fernie Silva, the guy for IU, fighting up against Caleb Young. Tell me a bit about this matchup as they're about to start.
Yes, this match was actually already wrestled at Midlands, so they obviously have some experience against one another. I believe it'll be a very good one. Fernie Silva is a very talented, he's very, again, slick in his moves. His offense is very impressive, but he's going to have to be able to keep this match in close contention for the entire 7 minutes, unless, of course, he's in the lead, then he wants to build the lead and extend that towards working towards bonus points like a major decision.
13-7 was the result at that Midlands, as you mentioned, Sammy, in favor of Young.
Yeah, so obviously, being able to put up 7 points, that gives him the opportunity. If he can keep that offense up while shutting down Caleb Young, then that'll leave him the opportunity to win this match.
Fernando Silva from Rockton, Illinois, the senior, lost a 5-4 decision in the first dual meet of the season against North Dakota State. He's going up against the #4 wrestler in the nation, Caleb Young, 7-2 on the year himself, and another reigning All-American in a very stacked roster, it has to be said, for Iowa.
Yes.
150 still to go in this first period.
Young in on a single leg. Fernie shallow with the whizzer. It shouldn't. And Caleb Young collects the takedown.
Nice move right there from Caleb Young to get the first 2 points of this match and to get his riding time going at 5 seconds now. Silva going to work on an escape here.
Yes, he's got to get his hands free here as Young keeps control of his wrist and is working for a turn.
Less than half to go in this first period as Silva
is flattened out on bottom. He's got to be able to get his wrist free and build his base up if he wants to get away or maybe even get a reversal.
Young seeking to possibly ride this one out. There is a minute to go. Does get those wrists out a bit.
Lugo cuts him.
1 point escape right there for Fernie Silva. Cuts the lead for Young in half. 2-1 now with 30 seconds to go and 48 seconds of riding time for Young. Nice move right there, and that's going to be a 2-point takedown and possibly some more riding time as they near the 1 minute mark on that regard. 55 seconds for that. And he does take the edge a bit in riding time, leading 4-1 in the waning 10 seconds. Silva going to try and engineer escape in the last bit of this period. Ending that one up right there. It's going to be 4-1 in favor of Young after that. Tell me a bit about what you saw either side can do after and going into the second period.
Well, Fernie's got to keep Young off his head. He's got very heavy hands. His snaps are putting Fernie on the mat, and as soon as that happens, Young's working towards getting a go behind. And Fernie's a very fast and slick individual, but with that kind of pressure, it's hard to stay competitive in those positions. Young's also keeping very good head position when he's in a tie-up, so Fernie's got to be able to either wrestle from space or not give up that head position in a tie-up.
1 point escape from Young, getting out pretty quickly from being on bottom.
Leaves it at 5-1 with over a minute of riding time.
Good start from Young, and Silva going to hope for a similarly good second period like Rooks had in that first match.
Right. Young controlling the center of the mat, keeping Fernie towards the out of bounds.
5-1 with just over a minute to go in the second period between Caleb Young and Fernando Silva. Silva backing off here. Minute to go now in this 157 weight match. Feeling each other out right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feeling out process in the second period. Young not really looking to be very offensive. Obviously, Fernie working towards takedowns, and Young's being able to stuff all of them. The only thing Young needs to be worried about in that regard is giving up a stall call, but here's a takedown, or a shot, and working towards a takedown for Young.
Gets 2 points right there, pushes the score up 7-1.
And riding time builds.
Builds indeed. 120 in that regard with 20 seconds to go. Has a chance to try and get a further edge there. The right arm stuck under Silva. Young doing a good job to pin that. Under 10 to go.
He's working to get that wrist out.
And that is going to wrap up that second period. Silva trailing 7-1. Third period coming in for Fernando Silva, a bit of a deficit, 7-1.
Yep. He chooses neutral in the third period. Doesn't want to go back down underneath Caleb Young, who's obviously a very tough and aggressive rider.
142 riding time for him right now.
Yep.
Obviously, another top 5 in the nation wrestler. Finished 5th at the NCAA championship last year. Was 12-7 against ranked opposition last season. And with a minute 30, Fernando Silva trying to cut in on that deficit.
And again, Young is controlling the center of the mat, almost an establishment of dominance. And again, he gets in on a single leg. Fernie working the wizard, trying to keep that arm low on his leg. Young whips it out and gets the takedown, though, and that's going to work towards getting the major decision, which is going to be 4 points rather than 3 for the Hawkeyes if it continues this way.
9-1 is the way things stand right now, and nearing 2 minutes of riding time, at the point where he's guaranteed the riding time, and now Silva going to try and get an escape and possibly try and cut in on the decision at this point and cut it down from a major decision to possibly just a decision.
Yes. Young working an arm bar here. He's got Fernie in a very uncomfortable position. Fernie manages to get his arm free.
40 seconds to go, 9-1. Caleb Young, who's currently riding over 220. Going to try and keep it going strong. 30 seconds remaining.
Fernie gets the escape.
Does get the escape.
With riding time, it would still be a major decision, so Fernie needs to be able to score at least 1 point here, but probably a takedown, and there it is.
That is phenomenal from Silva right there to
now
cut it
he needs
down.
to continue the ride and keep it down to a decision.
9-4. Going back to the center of the mat. 9-4 though, and with the riding time, which is guaranteed at this point, 10-4 is the effective score between these two. And with 13 seconds to go, Silva going to try and get something going right here.
Big mat return. Oh, and there's a foot trip.
1 point escape for Young, pushes up to a 6 point, possibly 7. And as the period ends, it's going to wrap up at 11-4.
Yes, a 7 point decision. That takedown turned it from a major decision into a decision which isn't a large victory in the individual score, but as the team standings stand, it changes it by a point differential.
It is a big deal right there.
it's a mental win. It's a big again thing to keep the momentum from swinging too heavily in Iowa's favor. To keep that down to a 6-0 decision. Just one. If the Hoosiers were to get a pin at 165, that would mark the matchup at 6-6, and that would be big.
Exactly. Davey Tunon versus Alex Marinelli is the next matchup at 165, as you just mentioned. Another phenomenally talented opening dual meet for Indiana, but it's going to be the 5th dual meet overall for Iowa.
Yep.
Alex Marinelli, number 2 in the nation, versus Davey Tunon. It is going to be a very good matchup, but as you mentioned, it was a big, small win for IU. Obviously lost the overall match at 157, but turning it from a major decision to a decision means that if Davey Tunon can come up with a big result here, there's no saying what this could do for IU's confidence.
Davey is a very comfortable wrestler, and up in the upper body position, he's very good with underhooks. He can get a throw if he gets in that position. So that's not something that's completely outside. Just like that, Davey goes for a double over toss, and Marinelli is wise to fight out of it. But those are positions that Davey Tunon excels at, and so Marinelli is probably going to be wise to stay out of those.
Very quick early start here.
Yes, and as you can see, Davey's trying to work Marinelli's position upwards as Marinelli keeps posting down towards a shot.
We talked about it earlier. It's big that you got to make sure no matter who your opponent is, you still maintain that intensity and that mental confidence. And obviously going out really strong early, Tunon has no lack of that here.
Yeah, he is a very fearless competitor out on the mat, and it's something that's going to be a big impact on this match. He needs to work strong here in order to get away after Marinelli gets a takedown.
Good move right there from Marinelli.
And he needs to get his arm down in this position and pop his head out, and there's an escape. Score is 2-1.
2-1, and only 10 seconds of riding time went there for Marinelli. A quick start from both wrestlers.
Marinelli keeps shooting to Davey's left leg. He's obviously can't hang out with his left arm. Otherwise, Marinelli's going to keep popping that elbow up and get into that single leg every single time.
Minute 40 is there. Still feeling each other out. As we're about halfway through this first period between Tunon and Marinelli.
Marinelli passes that 2-on-1 by right to a shot and to a takedown.
Good right there from Marinelli to get him and increase that riding time now. 4-1 the score in a 6-0 current lead for Iowa.
Tunon in the sit-up position trying to get Marinelli's arms out from underneath his as Marinelli cuts him and gets an escape.
4-2 now after 2 escapes and 2 takedowns for Tunon and Marinelli respectively. Iowa leading in that regard. Less than a minute to go here in this first period of action. 26 seconds of riding time for Marinelli.
Not sure what the whistle was for.
Going to go at it again from neutral position. How do you feel about how both wrestlers are doing it in terms of their own perspectives? Marinelli looking the guy to be dominant, and Tunon versus the guy looking to pull off an upset.
Obviously, Marinelli here has been able to get to his offense here multiple times and scoring 3 takedowns now. And what Davey needs to do is be able to shut down that offense and work towards his own offense. He's got that. He's got those upper body offense, but that's not going to be a very consistent form of scoring points. So he needs to be able to get to his own offense, his own shots.
6-2 in favor of Marinelli as the whistle goes after the first period of action. Marinelli maintaining a 6-2 lead over Tunon as they enter into the second.
Marinelli's choice, he chooses bottom.
What's the rationale behind that to try and start from a defensive bottom position?
Well, obviously he is going to be giving up some riding time, but if he's able to get away quickly, it won't be much. And obviously, if he's able to get away, then he doesn't give up, or he scores a point and gives up very little riding time. So it's just another opportunity in order to score more points.
Does score a point right there. 7-2 now. a bit of a cut into that riding time. 43 seconds is where it currently stands in favor of the Iowa man, Alex Marinelli, number 2 in the nation. Minute 30 remaining in this period.
He gets back to that single leg shot and collects the takedown.
Very effective with that move, multiple takedowns from it, and 9-2 now. As
he runs Davey forward, putting Davey out of that sit-out position and trying to work towards a turn here.
Over a minute of riding time now.
He maintains control of that wrist and is trying to bring it up and out, as you saw Caleb Young do against Fernie Silva, and work for a snake position, and as they call Davey for stalling.
First warning right there. 40 seconds.
Marinelli very tough with that move. Not sure if there's a real name for it, but that is a very tough position. It's tough on the neck and on the lungs as he tries to turn Davey over with that move.
Was very good right there.
Yes, it's a very strong position. Davey was wise to fight out of it.
1 point escape for Davey Tunin. 9-2 or 9-3 now, should I say.
With a minute and a half of riding time.
30 seconds still in this period for Tunin to try and cut back in to that lead. We've mentioned it multiple times, getting those late few points can help you, a bit of a moral boost.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. With a 6-point, effectively 7-point lead right now, Marinelli's within comfortable range of scoring a major, so Davey's going to have to keep him out of the ability to score that major, and maybe even score points of his own from his own offense.
After 2 periods right here,
Davey chooses bottom.
Trying to get that escape point to try and cut in on that lead.
That is correct. He already gave up a minute of riding time, so there's no real loss except for the danger of getting put in a turn like Marinelli was working for in the second period just earlier.
1:30 already in riding time. It would take a big win from Tunin to try and cut in on that at a big amount, but he's trying to get that escape point. What else do you think Marinelli is going to try and do in the final 145 of this match?
He's definitely working for points here, trying to get that turn. He's on top. He's a big move man. He's not necessarily a very tough rider, but the moves that he works for are moves that will pin you. So that's something that Davey needs to stay out of. Clearly, just like that, he's got a figure 4 locked around the head. That's very close to a pin.
That is a pin right there. Iowa taking that one right there. 6 points for them. 12-0 is the lead as they head into the 174-pound fight.
Yes, and this is a match that I'm very excited for. Michael Kemmerer, the third-ranked wrestler in the country, is coming up against Jake Kovac, who is a very tough wrestler in every single position. He's a very strong opponent. He's got that farm strength is what I'm going to call it. And this is an opportunity for Kovac to let the country know what he's capable of, and he is capable of a lot. So this is a big match for IU.
Kemmerer missed last year due to injury. Earlier this season, Jake Kovac won an 11-4 decision, and he's going up against obviously another phenomenally talented wrestler.
Yes, as Kemmerer's in on that shot and collects a takedown. Kemmerer wrestling at 174 pounds this year. Obviously, as you said, he was out last year for injury, but the year before that and his first 2 years as a Hawkeye, he was wrestling at 157 pounds. So he's put on some size here, and he's been doing well so far this year, but I believe that this is a match that Kovac can keep himself in and potentially win.
Wrestlers move back to the center of the mat. Kovac on bottom. 30 seconds already gone. And Kemmerer has scored a takedown. 2-0 is the way things stand right now. IU trying to get the new year, the new decade off to a good start, taking on the best team in the country as the overall wrestlers, and trying to keep their own right now, down 12-0. 2 decisions and 1 fall in the last match right there.
Yes, and Marinelli's working a very tough spiral right here. He's got Kovac now broken down and is running a crossface, trying to work maybe a cradle or a barbed wire, one or the other. But as we near the out-of-bounds line, he's got to be careful with where his feet are and what position they're in as they go out of bounds.
They are going to go back in after the out-of-bounds. Kemmerer will maintain the top position. Was an All-American in 2016, 17, and 17, 18 before he missed last season for an injury. And he's one of those guys who could have made it 8 returning All-Americans if he didn't miss last year.
Yep. Yeah, he was more than likely in between weights at that moment as he was working from 157 to 174. Marinelli's at 165, and that's not the kind of problem that it is a good problem for the Hawkeyes to have, but it's not a problem that you want to face when you have 2 All-Americans at the same weight class. And as Kemmerer collects another takedown there, the score is 4-1 as he cuts him, bringing it 4-2. Kovac has got to slow down the pace here as Kemmerer is really working towards shot after shot.
Was an escape. 2 points for escapes. 4-2 now is the way it stands.
Now Kovac has him extended and is working for a takedown of his own. Kemmerer with a very, very strong grip.
Kemmerer trying to avoid just that.
As it go to a stalemate.
It is a stalemate right there. Going to give Kemmerer a chance to catch his breath and try and get an escape point here in the last 34 seconds, but a minute 38 of riding time already for him. It's a big advantage. Good move right there.
Very, very good defense from Kovac there. And that's going to be something that gets Kemmerer very tired, is getting in on those shots and working towards finishes, but not getting anything out of it. And it's going to get it's something that's going to be starting to very wear him out a good amount.
It's going to be very good right there from Kovac to maintain just a 4-2 first period. He'll feel like he's still in this match.
Yes, yeah.
And in a second.
It's just a takedown away. There's a minute and 38 seconds of riding time in favor of Kemmerer on the board, but as Kovac goes down here, he's trying to put the score up to 4-3 with a quick escape. Kovac is, yes, still very much in this match as he works towards that escape. He's stood up here, and he gets the escape quickly.
4-3 for Kovac.
Again, this is an opportunity for him to get his offense here.
Kovac trying to get a good second period. IU wrestlers have started a bit slow so far in this meet, but definitely have increased their tempo throughout and have improved throughout. And Kovac keeping it a very close match against Kemmerer.
Yep.
4-3 is the way it stands with a minute 46 riding time for Kemmerer. And the way the previous matches have gone, it feels like it's a 5-3 essentially. Stalemate called. They're going to go back to the center. We mentioned at the beginning that IU may try and wear out the opposing wrestlers. Is that something that you're seeing here, trying to work on the endurance of the opponents?
I do think that the positions that they've been ending up here with Kovac defending these shots as well as he has been putting an exhaust on Kemmerer, and it's going to be something that wears out his grip and wears out his lungs, and that's going to be working in favor for Kovac as we go towards the end of the second period and into the third period. It's going to give Kovac a better opportunity to score points of his own and take this match to the limit and even score a win here. As
another stalemate.
I think we have blood time.
You would be correct there.
Kemmerer has a bloody nose or a bloody forehead, one or the other.
Why have we seen so many stalemates throughout this initial 4 minutes, excuse me, in this individual match?
Yeah, this specific match, Kemmerer has been able to get in on shots a lot, but Kovac has been very good at defending them. Now he hasn't been able to quite get to his own takedowns, so they end up in positions where neither wrestler is improving, and that leads towards a stalemate after a certain amount of time.
They were cleaning up the area above the left eye, I believe, with Kemmerer. They're going to go back with 53 seconds to go. Blood timeout is over, and they're going to go at it again. But Kovac still obviously right in this match.
Yeah, Kovac is not the type of wrestler to let a match get him tired, so this is going to be working in his favor. Obviously, Kemmerer has worn himself out with his numerous shots that have proved to be unfruitful. And Kovac is working towards his own offense here now in the closing seconds of this second period.
Less than 20 seconds to go. But a marked improvement for Kovac in the sense that there was 1:46 of riding time through the initial part of this match, and he's improved a lot in that and kept it really tight.
Very tight, yes. He's in on his own shot towards the final seconds of the second period.
Not quite able to get it off, and it's going to be 4-3 heading into the third.
The third period. Kemmerer choosing bottom. Kovac want to put up a tough ride here in order to get that riding time down to within a minute at the very least. Obviously, he's going to need a takedown in the third period in order to, or maybe even a turn from on top, in order to put this match into a winning position for him.
So close there, not quite able to finish the move, and an escape. There's a point there for Kemmerer. 5-3 now.
Riding time down to 1 minute and 37 seconds. Kovac needs to score a takedown and probably
2 takedowns if possible, or something along those lines.
That's going to be the most likely road path to victory for him. And he needs to start working on it now. He needs to start that final sprint at this moment in order to win this match. Kemmerer has stepped down on his offense. He's putting himself in a tricky position here. He dove down for a funk roll, collected Kovac's ankle, and now we're likely going to end up in a stalemate position here unless either wrestler can work. As you can see, a stalemate, obviously. Kemmerer doing a lot of heavy breathing here. He has exhausted himself, and you've seen
another blood timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I think it's the lip this time.
Probably. You've seen a lowering in his offensive attempts in this third period. He's backing up. He's just holding ground, and instead of firing off those offensive attempts, trying to score points of his own, he's just trying to maintain the lead that he has now.
And is that a change in strategy now that there's just over a minute to go?
Yes, he doesn't want to exhaust himself any further, and so he's just maintaining position. He knows that, or he believes that he can hold the position and not give up any takedowns and gut out a 5-3 win, 6-3 with riding time.
Exactly.
And Kovac is going to try and prove him wrong.
Try and get on the offensive. Got to do a couple strong
moves. On a shot, he comes out through the back.
Very nice.
Collects a takedown. That ties it up 5-5. He cuts him loose. Riding time still a factor.
6-5.
Effectively 7-5. Kemmerer dives in on a shot and collects a takedown of his own.
8-5 now, 9-5 essentially in favor of Kemmerer. And 45 seconds to go. An escape right there, 6-8. Again, there's that 9th point.
Yes, and riding time is now locked up as we go below 40 seconds.
8-6. As Kovac's got to pull off something here to cut in on that 3-point deficit with 30 seconds remaining. He's kept in this match all the way till the end.
Yes, and this is a testament of what Kovac is capable. He's wrestling the third-ranked wrestler in the nation and is putting up a great effort. This is a match that he can win. It's within striking distance of winning, and that's something that shows what Kovac is capable of and what Angel's been doing with our IU wrestlers. Both wrestlers exhausted.
You can tell as he's trying to get one last move to work. Might get a takedown there.
As time runs out.
Does get the takedown if I'm not mistaken. 8-6 as a matter of fact. It's going to be the way things wrap up there.
Yep, a decision again for the Hawkeyes. That puts them out to a 15-0 lead after 4 matches.
Strong start from them, but
yes.
IU will feel very happy with how they've fought so far.
There haven't been anyone
who for sure gets the spot for IU. Still a bit of confusion if it's Assad or Wilkie out there.
Yeah, that's Assad. I guess our graphic was showing Wilkie, but I'm guessing it's Assad.
PA announcer saying it was Assad out there. And there's no clarification from the Encore graphic says Assad Wilkie. But regardless, it is going to be Hines going at it for Indiana from Westerville, Ohio. Second at the Midlands Championships for Assad.